Well, hello, hustler. Welcome to another episode of the Wellness Hustle. I'm Brit Tincup. I'm a creative designer, a serial entrepreneur who lived with chronic stress that had me testing every health and fitness tip and trick that would make me feel like myself again. And I'm joined by my co-host, Sasha Fisher, an ex-pro athlete, personal trainer, and nutritional therapy practitioner with years of experience helping high-achieving individuals to reach their health and fitness goals. We're here to redefine what wellness means, simplifying health, fitness, and self-care, empowering you to fuel ambition and embrace wellness, because we believe that hustle isn't a bad word. When applied properly, it's a superpower. Now let's jump in. Welcome back to another episode of the Wellness Hustle. I am your host, Brit. I am here with my co-host, Sasha. And we are here to bring you some more exciting knowledge. I'm so excited you guys are back for another round of this. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'm personally really excited for today's topic. We're discussing bio-individuality.
Yes. And the topic came to mind because we were just speaking about wellness.
Mhm.
And I think I'd mentioned it a couple times and you're like, wait a minute, what is that thing?
Right.
Yeah. And it started to click for you when I was giving you examples.
Yeah. And I think for me, I definitely have been a rebel without a cause my whole life. And I also just really like, I don't know, I've just always found as a 6 foot tall woman,
Yep.
it's not what is meant for women, like the average woman, is not typically meant for me.
Yeah.
Because proportion wise, size wise, all of those things have really hindered my ability to do some things. And like, I require more food. Like, I just require more food. That's
Same
just
here.
it.
Yeah, we both are 6 feet, just to let you know.
Yeah.
You guys can hate us, but we definitely like to eat more, and we can do that because we are, larger humans.
Yeah. And there were some things my whole entire life that I felt like, there were things I had to keep in mind, but a lot of things I eat more masculine because of the design of my body. And by that, I just mean more like higher calorie intake.
Yeah. More protein,
right? More red meat, all of those things. And
Yep.
I've been an athlete my entire life. So there's that
exactly
aspect as well.
And it's something that I teach my clients all the time. This is where bio-individuality comes in. I don't have same plan for every client. This is why we talked to you guys previously about the food and mood journal. You analyze what's happening, with you, what you're eating, but also we take in consideration like your lifestyle, what you've been doing prior you came to see me. Like, are you working out? You're not working out? Do you have some allergies maybe? All of the things, like we're all different.
Yeah.
When it comes to basics, yes, we all want to eat real food, lots of vegetables, non-processed foods. But when it comes to bio-individuality, that's where we find out how much protein we need, how much carbs we need, how much fat we need, how many, what the minerals we need for our makeup, like our, for our makeup.
I feel like also when you think about, after figuring out like my own nutritional needs and things like that, like I think about water, for example, is something that I always struggle with. And, for a long time it was like drink, what was it? Like
8 glasses
a day. And I was like, that never felt like enough for me.
But what about us living in the desert?
Right. Well, I live in the desert, and at one point I lived in the mountains.
Yeah.
I'm also 170 pounds. And I'm 6 feet tall. So like, then when it was reintroduced and everybody was saying, okay, you should drink your weight in fluid ounces per day in water, immediately, or what is it? Half your weight in fluid ounces in water a day. It clicked. I was like, oh yeah, I need 3 of these water bottles a day.
Yeah. Makes more sense, right? Like somebody who is 4 feet tall and somebody who's 6 feet tall, there are differences, obviously. So you can't do the same thing. So that's what we wanted to talk to you guys about today. So what is bio-individuality? That means that each person requires different plans for their wellness, for their fitness, for their nutrition. So that's kind of like where the bio-individuality comes in. And we cannot talk about bio-individuality without not touching on epigenetics.
Okay. I'm geeking out. I love this stuff.
Epigenetics is something that, so think about this. Is a person you were born with certain genetic makeup?
Yeah.
Okay. You can't change it. That's what God, mom, and dad gave you. That's what you have.
Yep.
But what we know now is that 80% of it is in your hands. What's gonna actually be expressed by the lifestyle that you live. And that's what epigenetics is. So it's you living your life, making daily choices is going to determine which genes are going to come to play and which will not.
So this is essentially nature being genes, and nurture being epigenetics, and kind of being able to break cycles or manage symptoms or anything like that. The first thing that came to my mind when you were teaching me about this with epigenetics was, I'm predisposition for ADHD. I have every symptom, like pretty extreme under, you've actually experienced some of them last 2 weeks ago. It was really rough, or last week. So I've started to eat more clean and started to work out and stayed on top of my supplements and getting enough water and things like that. And I reintroduced meditation every morning for 10 minutes.
Okay.
And what I have noticed is that my symptoms are kind of not as intense.
Exactly. That's the perfect example of epigenetics, because you're starting to express other genes, and the genes that are responsible for the symptoms that you had are now quieter.
So essentially, you don't need to mask something. You can really treat something. Is like
exactly with your lifestyle. Isn't that amazing? That's like mind blowing, right? But insurance is not going to cover it, so it's all in your hands, guys.
To be honest, I didn't expect that to come out of your mouth, but I'm with you. I'm with you 110%. It's so true. It's so true. And I've been so frustrated with the healthcare system. I'm always frustrated with the healthcare system because for me, I went to a doctor and they basically were like, your ADHD is so severe that you'll never be off medication.
Great. Thanks.
And I was like, cool. Because what happened is I had looked at what my medication is. And to be clear, there is a time and a place for medication always. Like I truly believe that if you really need it, if it genuinely helps you, you should be taking it. But as somebody who has a lot of anxiety around the things that go into my body from a toxin perspective, the idea that I was taking a small dose of methamphetamines every single morning, because
was not sitting well with you.
It wasn't going over well. And I was only taking 5 milligrams towards the end, 10 milligrams. And they wanted me to take 20 milligrams a day. And I was just like, no. I've also had experiences with other medications where I was just handed like Lexapro, or like I had an unlimited supply pretty much to Xanax at one point. That was not.
Yeah. And that's what we're trying to say here is, yes, there's room for medication for sure when there's severe cases. But what we're not being taught by our health providers is the preventative. And that's where it's all in your hands, seeking the right information and empower yourself with how your lifestyle will actually determine how you feel.
1000%. And both of those times, just to give some context, that I was prescribed those medications were at very high stress levels of my life where I was not managing my own experience very well. Like I was traveling around the country, very high stress, wanting a divorce, like chaos or all around that whole space.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And then when I ended up on ADHD medication, it was like the height of Haven and Flux. Things were really intense. I was really overwhelmed.
Again, yes, high stress.
And I wasn't managing my stress or my symptoms very well. And so instead of doing the hard work, which to be fair, at that time in my life, it was especially for the ADHD, it was a very necessary reset button. But I don't think it was what was for me. Which kind of leads us into like the next point is like, why is bio-individuality
so important?
So important.
Because people, okay, so think about, I'm just going to talk about America because that's where we are. And how many trends are out there, especially every year for wellness? Like gazillion, right? So there's always something new and everybody jumps on that next great thing without thinking, is that gonna really support my bio-individuality? That's why we really wanted to talk to you guys about that. So go with any changes in your wellness with that in mind. Yes, you can try things, but don't necessarily assume that keto that your friend was on is gonna work for you. your need for fat may be different. Your need for amount of carbohydrates may be different. Maybe somebody can do on a 30-gram carbohydrate a day, but you might need more than that.
Yeah.
So that's where it's very important to really know your bio-individuality and also your epigenetics, like how your life was prior to this, what you created for yourself, because those two go hand to hand, right?
Yeah. I think it's also just taking control over your life, getting the opportunity to say, okay, this is what I actually need.
Yeah, it's one of those things I have a hard time delivering it to my clients because the victim mentality goes out the window right away. When I
Yeah.
tell them, there's such a thing, epigenetics, and it's in your hands, 80% of it to change whatever you don't like.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think victim mentality is a really dangerous thing to get down. I've definitely been there. I'm not saying I'm better than that,
Mm-hmm.
but in fact, I even realized last year, I was like, it was so much of this has been hard for me. This has been hard for me. And it's like, just take action. Like, what is the problem? Find the solution to it. And I think with epigenetics, that gives you an opportunity to do that. It's like, I'm pre-exposed to these X, Y, and Z things, diabetes, heart problems, whatever. Okay. So start eating a heart healthy diet.
Exactly. And unfortunately, we're not just inheriting the gene, we're also inheriting the habits from our family. And a lot of times people mix those two together, right? They
Yeah.
think, oh, I'm having this because of this. No, look at your habits. What did you inherit from your family that maybe is not supporting your goals?
Yeah. I also like the concept of, I always like to bring it back to the caveman thing. And I think like based on your environment, your
Yeah,
access to food is going to change as well.
right.
So when you talk about like bio-individuality, not to switch gears so quickly, but like just talking about okay, all right words, bio-individuality. And we were talking about the hydration, right? It's like,
Yep,
okay, well, I need more hydration because I live in the desert
right.
naturally.
You're taller.
I'm taller.
You work out.
I work out a lot. I sweat more.
Uh-huh.
When you,
All of the things.
yeah, like when you look at the Midwest, a lot of people out there eat a lot of like corn. They eat a lot of potatoes. They eat a
Yes.
lot of meat. Well, they're
Yeah.
surrounded by cornfields,
Yeah.
farms,
Yeah.
and ranches.
Right.
Not a lot of salmon unless you get up into like Michigan area, right?
Exactly.
So then you look at like just the different type of cultures and things like that. I think it's important to keep those things in mind too. My mom naturally loves a Mediterranean diet.
Okay.
My mom is Italian.
There we go.
So like
Makes sense.
in my mind, I don't know, those sorts of things make sense. Now I'm Mexican Italian and native. I'm predisposition. I like intuitively want to eat meat and vegetables
And corn.
and corn. Oh my God, a corn tortilla, you guys, fuck me up.
Yep.
So like and my dad and I eat very similarly. So it's like, it's interesting to see your intuition kind of take a play in bio-individuality.
Yeah. So the takeaway really from here is really kind of tune into your body, like Brit did, right? With her
ADHD.
ADHD. I can never say that. Sorry, guys. And it's like, okay, what's not serving me?
Yeah.
What can I do? Okay, I can do meditation. Yes, it's helping. So things like that, just kind of acknowledge and try and see if it sticks.
I think there's also just things like, which Sasha and I talk about a lot, but like blood sugar regulation, which also regulates your hormones, things like
Right.
that. Because when I don't do that, then those symptoms flare up.
Exactly. 100%.
And I know we've talked about like how journaling can help. We've talked about the food journal, track how you feel after meals and workouts.
Yep.
That's another thing. I think I'm forced to do it because of my ADHD. I have to like pay attention to when I eat something. Like this morning I woke up, didn't feel super well. And it was like, well, what did I eat yesterday?
Yeah. Did I sleep?
Did I sleep?
Again, we're looking at the data.
Yeah.
I love data now. Like I love all those gadgets that gives us data and you can see how many steps did I do? Then how did I sleep? What else did I do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of brings you back to what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And
Noticing
you can
patterns.
change it. Yep.
Yeah.
You can change it.
But I think bio-individuality is so special because it can be applied to like everything. Single aspect. Like, let's get some individuality back. I think that that's really what it comes down to is like, eat what is best for you. You should be doing what is best for you. How does this play into fitness?
Into fitness.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of different workouts out there, and it's for a reason. A, to keep us interested, right? Because we can get bored. But also, again, some things work for some person and some things don't work for the same person. We all know that we want to lift weights to gain the muscle, but then how much of it? Right? Do we need to do it every day? Do we need to do it every other day? And that's going to be determined on your bio-individuality, how heavy you need to lift, right? To see the goals. And you probably have a friend who will lift like twice and you already see the muscle definition. And some people will lift for months and not see the results. Does it mean it doesn't work for them? Well, not necessarily. It's just maybe they need to adjust their program, but also the way their body is building itself is different. So say like just a quick example. I'm 6 feet tall again, and I have arms. They're like as long as, I don't even know, like a 7 foot tall person.
Yep.
So for me to build a huge muscle mass on my arm is gonna take a really long time because the distance between my shoulder and my elbow is so long. But someone who is a gymnast, a small lady with a small distance between the shoulder and the elbow, right, is gonna have an easier time to build that muscle just because the muscle structure is different.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. I think I can relate to this in the way that is like Pilates and yoga and all of those things. I have a very short torso, like like my abs are, the joke is like I got 3 inches there, like of abs, like it's not much. And my legs are super long and they're thick. And my upper body is also long, like my arms and things, but they're not very strong. Like my upper body, no matter how much I'm working out, like seems to not be able to hold the whole width of my legs up. Like I don't have enough strength in my core. Planking is what I'm thinking about.
Planking.
So
Okay.
like body for a long time with my shoulder injury and everything else, it was really, really hard for me to do any body weight workouts. And because I wanted to be like a little girly, I was going to bar.
Okay.
And so what was happening is I was getting injured over and over and over and over and over again. And
because a lot of it is a body
weight.
And a lot of it is holding yourself up with your wrists, which are not very strong and big. You can tell like your bone structure, you're thinner here. So it's hard. So so we have to find out the workout that actually is gonna work for us.
And I want to backtrack because I did this at the beginning and I really want to like hone in on this. I was 100 pounds heavier when I was doing, which means I was 265 of weight that I'm trying to hold up with muscle that is not there. Right? So like when you think about that, like doing a push-up at 265, 6 feet with a very small core
and very long arms, and because you have to go deeper and you have to go higher,
and injuries to my like
shoulder, clavicle and shoulder.
That's not it. Like that was not it. And so what was happening is I was getting discouraged over and over and over again. And then I just wouldn't go. And then like I had other things that, you know, all of those little sticky resistance, switch it up. You don't need to be like, okay, bar is the hot thing right now. I'm going. Pilates is the hot thing right now. I'm going. Nope. It might not work for you. You know what's great for me? Strength training. Do you know how much weight I can lift in a shoulder press?
Well, I'm sure a lot.
No, 5 pounds. I can do 5 pounds, Sasha. And I can do it really fucking well. Okay. 5 pounds shoulder press. But that's because I have injuries in my shoulders.
Exactly.
So like, it's just a different body type. I'm built differently. You think of those girls who played soccer growing up, their thighs are so those girls can, I have a girlfriend who's probably like 5'2". I guarantee she can squat twice as much as I can.
Oh, I'm sure. It's because they have to go not as far and they have to come back not as far, right?
Exactly.
So when you've been to those fitness classes, I'm always late. When they count out how many they need to do, I'm always behind because it takes me twice as long to go down and go up. And I'm always frustrated because it takes so much longer for me to go down and go up. I used to be so mad.
That never occurred to me, but
It
now
never occurred to you?
no, but
Yeah.
I've been frustrated.
Slowpoke. I'm a slowpoke over here in the corner. Everybody done their 15 squats and Sasha's on her third.
Oh
Thank
my
you
God.
very much.
Same. Even
Yeah.
to some of the like workouts that I do on my app, I'm like, you're a short girl because you're quick. Your up downs
Yes.
for this is way too fast for me.
Exactly.
I literally cannot get
We
down
can't
and up
keep
again.
up. So bio-individuality.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so with all of this being said, like I have definitely done Pilates, been frustrated by it, like tried to keep up in these
Same.
bar classes,
Same.
all of that stuff. Bio-individuality, does that change as you get older?
Well, it changes throughout your whole life, right?
Yeah.
Because you are evolving, your chemical makeup changes, your epigenetics changing.
Yeah.
So all of it changes, right? You might be able to heal certain allergies, and now maybe you can heal, certain allergies to gluten. Now maybe you can have gluten a little bit,
Yeah.
things like that. Maybe you heal your gut, and now maybe you can have dairy, things like
Yeah.
that. So it's all about, and now maybe you healed your injury in your shoulder, and maybe you can do shoulder press instead of 5 pounds. Maybe you go up to 10,
Yeah.
things like that.
Well, and that was what I realized when I was doing when I was working out and doing strength training. I would start with maybe a 5-pound dumbbell, right? But then all of a sudden I noticed that like, and I've regressed a lot from where I was, but like now I'm back at 5 pounds, but I was at like 10, 15 pounds for a while there, which was exciting.
Yes, it is.
So I think it just comes down to like finding a fitness routine that energizes you and not one that exhausts you.
100%. Well, you want to get tired after a workout, but then next morning, if you wake up, if you're super tired, maybe you're overtraining or maybe you're doing the wrong thing.
Maybe, I mean, mentally exhaust you versus like you should be worked out, but not like defeated.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Yes, because some of the workouts might be just not, most people don't like the workout. Let's just get it straight out.
Yeah.
But some workouts are more enjoyable than others.
Yes.
So do the things that you like.
Yes. And don't forget your rest days, because this is something for me. I was going back to back to back, and now, and I know I've talked about this on other episodes too, but I just felt like I should be so much better. And I was so frustrated by the regression I had over the last year, which again, we've talked about is because of health issues. And I was really going to work out like 4 times a week and was feeling really, really good. And then would rest Saturday, Sunday, or like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And now I'm finding I'm having to rest every other day, and it's really frustrating for me, but
it's okay because you're not used to it. You have to listen to your body. You need to understand this is what your body needs now. And continue, because if you overdo it, then you're going to regress more. You're going to take a detour. Nobody likes detours. So just stick with the plan. If every other day works for you, eventually you're going to get stronger. There's no other, like, unless you get injured, which you're not, you're going to get stronger.
Yeah.
And then you can add another day, but stay with the program. Don't push too hard, too fast, because then you're going to regress.
I think that's the biggest thing I want you guys to take away from this episode is that bio-individuality is doing what you need right now, what you and your body needs for your own individual needs right now in the moment. Like, and that will change.
Exactly.
As you age, as you experience life, as you
healing things throughout your life,
your
taking care of yourself,
moving, location,
having kids, all of the things.
If you're a woman, any sort of hormone changes.
Oh yeah, welcome to that.
Your cycle, like I've had to change how I eat throughout my cycle.
Yeah, as you should.
So yeah, I think just tuning into your body's signals and understand what works for you, and then experiment with different foods, eating styles. Just try things on. Like, how fun. You get to try things on and see if you like them, and then like move on to the next thing.
Right. Exactly.
And then choose fitness routines that energize you and make you excited, and they don't like make you want to go cliff jumping into shallow water.
Exactly. Oh God.
All right. Well, with that, we're going to wrap up.
We're going to wrap up. As you know, we're going to thank you for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As we're cheering our mocktail to your health. I always think funny how people cheer to your health with an alcohol. How bizarre is that? So they're putting poison in their body and they're saying cheers to your health.
You know,
it's off topic, but I couldn't help it.
I love that tidbit so much. If you guys want access to these, you can find them on our Instagram. This specific mocktail
that we made, today.
that Sasha taught me how to make is on there. So you should absolutely go check it out. It's super simple, very easy to make, and it's also good for you. And it doesn't have alcohol in it.
Yes.
So yeah, if this resonated with you, if you like it, go share it with a friend.
Absolutely.
Next week, we're going to be talking about nutrition labels and ingredients, which you do not want to miss. So until then, we hope you're out there squeezing the most out of life, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, guys.